In the month of April 2025, the temperature will get red hot, like fiery planet of war and aggression, Mars. You can anticipate chaos and disruption, and continued themes of fire and war. March featured 2 very potent eclipses, the consequences of which will continue to unfold over the next 6 months. We saw a lot of fires, more earthquakes, and more airplane crashes. Neptune, the planet of collective subconscious ideals and cultural trends, will be taking its first steps and ingressing into fiery, Mars-ruled cardinal fire sign Aries for the first time since 1861 to 1875. This is while Mars, planet of action, passion, drive, and life force energy, one of the 2 great malefic planets that deliver karma, in the case of Mars, delivering karma through accident, injury, illness, and separation, comes out of his post-retrograde shadow, where he has been and will be retracing the steps of the last 6 months of its retrograde period. Beginning way back in September 2024 and over the past few weeks, Mars has been weakened or debilitated in cardinal water sign Cancer, which relates to emotional regulation, domestic affairs, the home, the homeland, physical borders for safety and security, home security, national security, nationalism, and personal energetic boundaries. Mars is not comfortable in the deeply emotionally sensitive sign of the crab that tends to hold on to things for far longer than is healthy or necessary, which is why we've seen difficult, heavy emotions projected throughout the collective. We'll see a full moon that triggers great malefic planet Mars by cardinal T-square, also activating Chiron, asteroid of deep soul wounding that we carry with us subconsciously and often plays out interpersonally in our relationships, by direct conjunction to the full moon. This full moon will also feature the 3rd and final pass of Mars opposing Pluto. The time between the end of March new moon partial solar eclipse and the mid-month full pink moon in Libra in the middle of April will highlight events that may seem as though the world is falling apart and into further chaos. 2025 is the year of chaos, after all. Libra is the sign of the scales, the only sign in the zodiac that's represented by an object, the scales of balance. Hello, and welcome back to another general predictive astrology video here on J. Kernifer Astrology. I'm your host, Western tropical astrologer, Jenny Kern. I'd like you to take a moment to like this video, hit that subscribe button, it is free to subscribe, and ensure that that notification bell icon is select to all. That way, you can be the first to know when we put out new content and see what the cosmos may have in store for you. As with most channels on YouTube, 70% of viewers are not currently subscribed, and it costs you nothing but a moment of your time to hit that subscribe button. It is one easy, zero-cost way to reward content creators for all of the hard work that goes into filming, editing, and producing videos. Liking the video tells the YouTube algorithm that you would like to see more of this content, and it helps push it out to other viewers who may benefit. Sharing the video and commenting on it is another way to tell the YouTube algorithm that you are enjoying the content and helps boost it so that others can see the videos. I would also like to invite you to share in the comments section where in the world you're tuning in from, anything that resonates in the content that I share, any questions you may have, share your natal placements, and let's start a conversation. Let's make this channel one of cosmic collaboration. I also love feedback. April 2025 features 2 lunations, a full pink moon in Libra in the middle of the month, and a new moon in Taurus at the end of the month. Both Libra and Taurus are Venus-ruled signs, and we begin the month with a Venus and Mercury retrograde. The 2 are fused together in conjunction, and their retrogrades, their symbolism, are therefore also fused together. Venus stations direct, exalted in the late degrees of Pisces, 24 degrees 37 arc minutes of Pisces to be exact, under the mid-April full pink moon, 23 degrees Libra, featuring fixed stars Spica and Arcturus. Venus will be in post-retrograde shadow until May 16th, 10 degrees 50 arc minutes Aries. So Venus retrograde will be influencing most of Taurus season. You can jot these dates down on your calendar. April 12th or very early on April 13th, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from, we have the full pink moon in Libra, 23 degrees Libra, and on April 27th, 2025, we have the new moon, 7 degrees Taurus. Venus and Mercury will both be retrograde until about the middle of the month, with Venus stationing direct under that full pink moon in Libra. This means that the disruptions we've seen to Venusian life areas, to our peace, our stability, our finances, the work that we do to earn money, how we invest our time, energy, and money, our relationships, and our overall values, and the disruptions we've seen to Mercury-ruled areas, to trade, commerce, travel, and communication, will begin to clear away. Mercury is debilitated in Pisces, and especially when it's in conjunction to a parade of planets in Pisces. This makes things more cloudy and confusing, since Mercury rules are logical, the lower functions of the mind. On the positive side, Mercury in Pisces is highly artistic. It's intuitive, imaginative, and creative. Once Mercury returns to Aries, the communication style is much more direct, assertive, blunt, and at times, domineering, or even aggressive. Venus is considered debilitated in cardinal fire sign Aries, but exalted in mutable water sign Pisces, with Venus retrograde exposing the cracks in our closest relationships, whether those are romantic relationships, client relationships, friendships, or partnerships. This gives us an opportunity to work through problems and grow stronger together, or an opportunity to get away from the relationship in favor of more overall peace, balance, and stability, so you can get back to focusing on your own personal needs. Although the month begins with both Mercury and Venus retrograde, by the middle of the month, full pink moon in Libra, all of the planets will be direct. And this is until May 4th, when Pluto stations retrograde. When the planets are traveling direct, we tend to see more forward movement and progress, so you can expect things to get much more fast-paced. Buckle up and prepare for a fast-paced, chaotic month of fire in April 2025. This will be further amplified by Mars gaining speed with each upcoming week, as it eventually comes back into bounds April 7th, 2025, coinciding with Mercury stationing direct, and leaves its post-retrograde shadow for good in May 2025. The first half of April is characterized by that parade of planets we keep talking about, or stellium of planets in Pisces. Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, now in the early degrees of Aries, and the north node of fate and destiny. They're in close conjunction for the first half of April, essentially fusing their energy all together and creating an emphasis of energy along the Pisces-Aries cusp. Venus is considered the most empowered and powerful planet in this configuration, and this is due to her exaltation in the late degrees of Pisces. This means that she's calling the shots and influencing all of the other planets, not only in Venus-ruled signs, Taurus and Libra, but all of the planets in that parade of planets, or stellium. With the north node of collective fate and destiny in Pisces for the next year and a half until mid-July 2026, this will amplify Piscean themes for all of us to work on in the collective. These Piscean themes include oneness, universal flow, spirituality, the importance of energetic boundaries, intoxication, escapism, avoidance, migration, immigration, chemicals, the human immune system, poison, water, the oceans, the seas. Just a few examples. On the same day that Venus stations direct, we see a full pink moon in Libra in a Venus-ruled sign. Libra, 23 degrees Libra. This features the moon in direct conjunction to two fixed stars, Spica and Arcturus. Late on Saturday, April 12th, or very early in the morning on Sunday, April 13th, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from, we'll see this full moon, 23 degrees Libra, which serves as a moment of climax, revelation, or ending, a key turning point, activating the me versus we relationship axis, Libra versus Aries. If you're on the east coast of the United States like I am, the full moon exacts at 8:21 p.m. on Saturday, April 12th. This is occurring at 12:21 a.m. Universal Time. Please be sure to adjust for your unique time and location on the planet. Unhealthy, codependent, possibly even toxic relationships, relationship dynamics, and patterns are highlighted under this full moon in Libra. They are revealed so that they can be cleared away, ultimately freeing us up for more personal priorities. Full moons occur when the sun is opposite the moon, meaning that the sun is in the final 10 degrees of Aries, 23 degrees Aries, and the moon is in the final 10 degrees of Libra, 23 degrees Libra. This is the high point of a lunar cycle, showing when something is either ending or coming to an energetic climax. Happening along the me versus we relationship axis, Aries versus Libra, this can show a relationship breaking up or falling apart. This can be between people, friends, clients, or coworkers. And this is especially with unhealthy dynamics that have become toxic. We may be feeling as though the person, situation, or environment in question has become, in some way, toxic or unhealthy for us and is no longer aligned with our soul's full potential. As many of you already know, I am a North Node Aquarius with Pluto right on top of my natal North Node of Fate and Destiny. What this means, among many things, is not only an interest and a gift in translating the astrology for all of you, is that many of these things happened for me personally several weeks before they happened for the rest of the collective. So I've already had my big full pink moon in Libra falling out. And this is between one of my most regular tarot clients who came to me for tarot and other advice on a bi-weekly, so every other week, sometimes weekly, for 2 years. Now, since the beginning, I had tried to establish healthy energetic boundaries, and this individual, who doesn't seem to understand or respect boundaries very well, continued to push the limits. They wanted to force a friendship, although they were 7 years younger than me. And they're a nice person, so I would have considered a friendship, whatever a friendship can mean between someone who pays you as a client, if they had proved more capable of respecting my boundaries. But time and time again, they would blow up my phone, although I had made it very clear that I do not like texting, and that the friendships that I do have, we don't text each other all the time. We don't text each other even that often. We might talk on the phone for an hour, 2 hours, sometimes longer, but then we might not speak for several months, and both parties like it this way. My friendships tend to be all over the world, with the safety of distance between us, and we tend to have a mutual understanding and a mutual independence, no codependency. I found this individual, this tarot client, to consistently push the boundaries, wanting advice multiple times a week, often very late at night, although they knew that I get up very early in the morning, essentially feeling entitled to my precious time and energy without paying for my services, and oftentimes putting me in a position where I was providing free therapy. Now, I studied psychology. I have a bachelor's in psychology and a bachelor's of science in elementary education, but I am not a licensed therapist. This is not appropriate. Please do not put your friends or your tarot readers or your astrologers in the position where they feel pressured to provide you with free therapy. Please be respectful of their time and energy and avoid slurping it all up selfishly. Now, for months, I was meditating on this and struggling to end the client-business owner relationship. And this is because they were a consistent client and very supportive of the work that I do. But in the end, the cost of doing business with them began to far outweigh the benefits. And one night, they asked me for advice. They didn't like what I had to say, which resulted in them exploding at me. And that made it very easy to walk away from the relationship altogether. The planetary ruler for the full pink moon in Libra, stationing direct under the full moon, indicates that what we've been reconsidering when it comes to love, money, work, finances, our overall values, while Venus was retrograde, can now be acted on. Whenever a planet stations direct or retrograde, its symbolism is amplified. Venus relates to the rhythms of life and our overall sense of peace, balance, and stability. This can be within the home and our finances, Taurian realms, or it can be interpersonally with relationship harmony, a Libra realm. Although Venus will be in her post-retrograde shadow until May, great clarity will come through in the days leading up to the full pink moon in Libra in the middle of the month, in the middle of April. Venus is further amplified, being the most heavily aspected planet in the chart of the full moon, further adding to her power and influence. Venus is conjunct Saturn, planet of karma, authority, personal accountability, restriction, and limitation, and the North Node of collective fate and destiny, showing that whatever action we're taking, it's responsible, it's mature, and it has the potential for long-term results. There will also be some sort of a fated or meant-to-be, destined feeling to it. An exalted Venus in Pisces, conjoined with Mercury, Saturn, the North Node of fate and destiny, and Neptune, now 0 degrees Aries, is all about unconditional love. And we'll get into this a little bit deeper when we discuss the fixed stars involved, most notably Spica and Arcturus, near 23 degrees of Libra, opposite the sun on the belly of the sea monster, or whale, the Kraken, and the myth of Andromeda, Perseus, Medusa, and the Kraken. Familiar if you've ever seen The Clash of the Titans. Libra and Pisces are two highly creative signs. And they are two signs that tend to struggle with energetic boundaries, along with cardinal water sign Cancer, where Mars is coming out of post-retrograde shadow. Libra is an other-focused cardinal or initiating air sign that's all about initiating interpersonally, with its charm, charisma, and often beauty. It's a blending or a chameleon energy, similar to Gemini. As a Libra with a Libra stellium, rising with my ascendant, I often say that Libra is able to intuitively sense whatever the group needs and fill that void, whether that is as a leader or a member of the team, ultimately creating greater harmony throughout the group. Pisces, as a mutable water sign, wants to merge and blend, and therefore energetic boundaries can be foreign to Pisces. Both signs, Libra and Pisces, and even Cancer, risk losing themselves, their sense of identity, in connection with others. They're also highly vulnerable due to their high amounts of empathy and understanding and compassion. They're highly vulnerable to being taken advantage of by others who seek to gain from their energy. It may seem obvious to some of you watching, but for many in the collective, unconditional love is not obvious, as it was not modeled to them. Unconditional love means loving without condition. This is what I hope to have modeled for my karmic twin flame. I loved him and accepted him, despite his many flaws, as much as he tried to hide and run away from them. So Libra, and this full moon in Libra, is a cardinal or initiating air sign that is all about creating interpersonal balance and harmony between the needs of others and the self, while Aries is a cardinal fire sign that is all about independence, authentic self-expression, and self-sufficiency. The full moon exacts 23 degrees, which is an Aquarius degree. This is related to our individual role as one small part or member of a greater collective or society. We have a Yod, a finger of God formation, pointing to the full moon conjunct Spica and Arcturus. The Yod is an isosceles triangle with planetary bodies at the base forming harmonious, supportive sextiles, 60-degree angles to one another. This full moon, 23 degrees Libra, involved in this Yod formation, forms in conjuncts, or 150 degrees, almost direct oppositions, showing issues in relating to the energy to the base of this triangle. The base of the triangle is formed between that multi-planet conjunction, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, the North Node of Fate and Destiny, and Neptune, on the cusp of Pisces and Aries, and Uranus on fixed star Algol, the demon Gorgon Medusa's head. Algol is known as the demon star, and Uranus will be conjunct Algol for the entire month of April and for the next couple months. Major fated changes are unfolding, ultimately supporting our surrender to a higher power, to divine timing. Allow these toxic and unhealthy relationship patterns to fall away so that they can create greater space for your personal priorities and for more balanced connections to come in the future. This full moon, featuring the moon in Libra, conjunct Spica and Arcturus, is opposite the sun in Aries, in direct conjunction to Chiron, asteroid of deep soul wounding stemming from early childhood that we carry or subconsciously within us and plays out interpersonally, conjunct the sun, creating a spotlight of energy, serving as a flashlight, shining it on our deepest wounds. In Aries, Chiron in Aries usually relates to perceived abandonment and rejection wounding, wounds to our independence and our self-sufficiency, with the moon in Libra highlighting patterns of codependency. This is happening while the full moon forms a cardinal T-square formation, a 90-degree angle to ruling planet for the sun in Aries, Mars, weakened and debilitated in Cancer. A highly emotionally reactive and easily triggered Mars in Cancer at that. This means that a weakened, highly emotional, and easily triggered Mars in Cancer forms internal pressure that comes out in an exploding way. You can think of Mars in cardinal water sign Cancer as fire and water mixing together, which create steam. If you have a lid on that pot and the steam builds, eventually that lid explodes like a volcano. So this might be happening for you interpersonally, as this tarot client exploded at me. This tarot client is a Cancer sun. Mars in Cancer relates to nationalism, national security, the homeland, home life, domestic affairs, danger in the waterways, and home security. So these will all continue to be major themes. Chiron is considered the wounded healer. So we're reminded that we all carry psychological wounds within us from our previous experiences. Once healed, once brought into the light of consciousness, that pain, that trauma can be transmuted into personal power, positioning one to become a healer of others, as was my path. You can look to your natal Chiron placement for more information. Look for the character resembling a key. Look for the sign, the exact degree, the house it falls into, along with aspects to other planetary bodies and asteroids for more information into your own personal wounding. And if you need any help with that, you know to check the description box. Send me an email, and I'll get back to you with my availability and pricing to help you navigate this. Chiron is where my astrology journey started. I had attracted a series of narcissistic lovers, narcissistic lover after narcissistic lover, and was so heartbroken and at a loss for words as to how me, I consider myself to be pretty loving and kind, could attract such dark energy. And what I realized is that I am the only, as are you, common denominator in all of my relationships and all of my problems. I had to take a long, hard look in the mirror at how I was showing up energetically in these relationships. In the past, I didn't know what unconditional love was, and that was because unconditional love was not modeled to me. I was raised by somebody high on the narcissistic spectrum, and it's no wonder that I ended up attracting mates, lovers, friends, even people in the workplace who mirror the energy of that person who raised me. And this was meant to awaken me to these patterns so that I could shift out of codependency and into personal power, which is why I am able to guide you. My Chiron is in Cancer, in a very public part of my chart. It's in the 10th house, on my midheaven, the 10th house representing our public reputation and our career. Is it any wonder that I reference my background here on this channel and that I use it in the work that I do every day as a healer of others? Chiron in Cancer is a mother wound, often relating to a mother presenting high on the narcissistic side of the spectrum within that dark tetrad. Under this full pink moon in Libra, on April 12th or 13th, the sun is in direct conjunction to Chiron, putting the spotlight of energy onto it for all of the collective. So watch for your deepest wounds getting triggered. Remember, awareness leads to control. Don't be scared, be prepared. Chiron, much like Mars, is considered to be malefic and can symbolize literal wounding. Chiron in the Mars-ruled sign of Aries, with Mars in Cancer influencing it, an event triggers some sort of rejection or abandonment wound, playing out within our closest interpersonal relationships. But remember not to take it personally. This could include literal wounding to the parts of the body ruled by Aries, to the face, to the head, to the blood, circulatory system, or even to the heart. There could be a literal wounding to a major solar figure or leader, such as an assassination attempt, or the DEATH of a father figure, boss, or authority figure. This can also be tied back to Uranus 26 degrees Taurus. The month of April and the upcoming months could be particularly dangerous for United States President Donald Trump. And this is because he has his midheaven exactly on demon star Algol, forming an exact square to Mars rising with his ascendant, 26 degrees Leo. Last year, I produced a series of videos in the beginning of July for the new moon in Cancer 2024, predicting the multiple assassination attempts against then presidential candidate Donald Trump. I will link these videos as an in-card and in the description box below for you to go back and review. I highly encourage you to do so. I cover in great detail fixed star Algol, where Uranus will be conjunct for the next couple months, leading into its ingress into Gemini, and the mythology behind it, which ties back to the great damsel in distress Andromeda, the unconditional love between her and the great hero Perseus, the flying magical winged horse Pegasus, the Kraken, the sea monster sent by Poseidon to destroy Andromeda, and the Gorgon Medusa, who was once a beautiful maiden turned into a monster with a head of snakes and a stare that turns men to stone when they make eye contact with her. These myths represent not only unconditional love, but the triumph of good over evil, which happens when we are able to transcend superficial, material longings of the ego. Uranus on Algol historically coincides with violence on the world stage. This mid-April full pink moon in Libra is connected not only to a new moon that occurred 6 months ago, but to the new moon in Libra the year prior to that, and to a half moon, a first quarter moon, 22 degrees of Libra, that occurred on July 13th, featuring the sun 22 degrees Cancer, squaring the moon, the first quarter moon, 22 degrees Libra, that K-I-L-L or B, K-I-L-L-E-D degree. July 13th, 2024 is the exact date of the first assassination attempt against then presidential candidate Donald Trump. The new moon solar eclipse that this full moon also ties back to, that occurred in 2023, was on October 15th, 2023, 21 degrees Libra, right in that same territory of the full moon, 23 degrees Libra, April 12th and 13th, 2025. So this full moon completes the seeds of intention that were planted 6 months ago under the new moon solar eclipse 10 degrees Libra on October 2nd, 2024, and the new moon solar eclipse on October 15th, 2023, 21 degrees Libra, along with the first quarter moon on July 13th, 2024. Coinciding with that first assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Therefore, events that occurred on or around October 15th, 2023, July 13th, 2024, and October 2nd, 2024, are the seeds for what's coming into fruition under this mid-April full pink moon, 23 degrees Libra. Shortly after the full pink moon in Libra peaks in the middle of April, Mars ingresses into fixed fire sign Leo for the second time this cycle, the first of which was way back in November 2024. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you're a real one. Drop your current most used emoji in the comments. If you took anything away from this video, we ask that you like, comment, share the content, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, we know that you'll enjoy the full playlist and this additional video. Thank you so much, love you, and see you soon.